Hey everybody, welcome today to our little talk on devouring and digesting. And this is a way of processing the stuff that we carry around intrinsically that we pick up from just being incarnated in this body, in this earth. So in classical tantra, we talk about the everything being burnt up in the lens and the fire of awareness. So the reason that I use lens as well as fire is because awareness has, if we treat it like a lens, then we kind of get that analogy of focus, and it is focus with awareness where we start to burn. And so what that looks like is going into the body and or being aware of oneself in situations and being aware of what is a constructed thought, what is a constructed feeling, what is something that is not of essence nature, and holding that in our awareness and letting the fire of awareness devour, dissolve, and digest. Now, this isn't a comfortable process at all. It can be really uncomfortable, and the more that we start working with it, the more stuff starts to show up to be devoured and digested. The reason that we carry stuff usually is because we've come through a situation where we haven't had the capacity to fully digest something. So too much too soon usually is sort of methodology for creating these samskaras, which is undigested emotions or undigested events, and vikalpas, which are thought forms that usually most of the vikalpas that we carry around are constructed ideals about reality. So when we get to this point where we're working with consciousness and awareness, we can take a step back and start to focus on the things and using our awareness, that lens to focus, and to start eating those things up as a way of burning through to get to the truth. There's lots of ways we do this. So one of the beautiful ways that we do this is through a process that I call somatic release process. It's got lots of different names. It's ancient. It's an ancient technique from classical tantra, which is one of the oldest lineages that we have on the planet at the moment, and quite exciting. We can do that internally through ourselves. It's tricky to do it by yourself. You get better and better at it, of being aware of when a samskara or a vikalpa come up and just holding it in awareness and burning it up. And it's a very effective practice. We can also, in the somatic release process or the process, we hold space for each other whilst doing that, and having a space held when we're going into these deep traumatic spaces or deep, because identity is entrenched, it's anchored in to our being, and so when we start dismantling, it can be really painful, and to have somebody hold that space for you as you go in helps us to focus and helps us to hold focus there. And when we start to work with this really seriously, there is that ability to titrate, like to microdose, to go, okay, that is my big thing, and I'm just going to dip my toes in and come out. And eventually what happens, quite often what will happen is we will burn through a layer and drop into another one. And it's quite a committing to this path of liberation through awareness and liberation from mind-created suffering is a long path, because we're actually looking at dissolving and digesting the whole being until we are back to essence nature, which is impossible to talk about it because it's first order reality. It's an experiential thing. but we can point to it, and this is what we do with our teachings and what we do with the way that we learn and communicate about what we're doing, is we point towards it. So yeah, in this video, I just wanted to let you know about the lens of awareness. Everything is burnt up in the fire of awareness. So the more attention that we bring to the identities and realities that aren't essence, space, nature, the more that we start to burn them up. Yep, it's uncomfortable, but it's liberating. And this is the path to liberation. This is the path to awakening and liberation. And it's wonderful. And if you're watching this video, I couldn't be happier that you're watching this video, because it means that on some level you're stepping into this work. And this work is, as far as I can see, the most wonderful work there is. Thank you. And if this work interests you, the next video I will be making will be around archetypes, because archetypes is a really great way of pointing us towards essence nature, pointing us towards something that's bigger than ourselves. And what happens is then everything that's not that comes up. And then we've got a smorgasbord of samskara and vikalpa, so undigested trauma, samskara, vikalpa, mind thoughts, that we can start working with a lens of awareness and processing. So I look forward to seeing you in other videos that I'm doing. I'm really glad that you're here, and yeah, take care, yeah, and have a beautiful life. So much love.